I still don't even believe the Oblivion Remaster is real, and I myself have been grinding the hell out of this game non-stop since it came out yesterday, after it took me 3 to 4 hours to download the game. Somehow people were downloading this game in 10 minutes, like they were stationed in Google headquarters or something. I've been playing so much, I've barely seen my girlfriend, and she lives with me. Look at my eyes, I was playing till 4 a.m. Look at these bags. I even have a carpal tunnel brace on because my carpal tunnel was acting up from how long non-stop I was grinding the Oblivion Remaster. Physically, it is literally breaking my body down, but mentally, I'm locked in. It was one of the greatest days of my life, and I've not been happier in a long time. But did they actually succeed with the remaster here? Does it look amazing when you're actually in the game and not just looking at images? Does it feel good? Did they keep the soul and the charm of Oblivion? Did the improvements that they added into the game actually make it substantially better in regards to moment-to-moment gameplay? And are there issues here with performance and bugs? And it's kind of a yes to all of these. But at the end of the video, I'll go over the performance issues and some bugs I ran into, as well as just some general nitpicks I have about the Oblivion Remaster, at least on release. But I want to start off where the game starts off, and that's the character creator. And before you ask, yes, you can make the ugliest monstrosities in all of Tamriel within seconds. These sliders in the character creator go way out of proportion, and I absolutely love it. But aside from this, you'll obviously choose your race, and a lot of these look so reminiscent of the original races. It really does have that original Oblivion charm to it. Even the UI is definitely different here, and it's different throughout the entire game, but it's very clean, and it has a very similar art style to the UI and the HUD, etc. of the original game, so it honestly still feels like it, which is the most important thing that they could have done in this remaster, at least in my personal opinion. Now, there is one nitpick with the character creator, and that is you can't make those extremely bright skin color, or the hair can't be extremely bright to where it's hurting your eyes looking at the screen. It's a nitpick. It's a hilarious thing with the original game, but at least you can make your character ugly, and it's not really a big deal. But then the prologue starts, and the nostalgia hits you so fast when you're in that prison. You're getting shit on by the dark elf across from the room.
By the 9 divines, you're an ugly one. But then all orcs are ugly. The most repulsive race in all of Tamriel, really. At least you've got that brutish strength, huh? Must be nice to just rip someone apart like some kind of monster. Oh, but you must be the one orc weakling, huh? Captured by Imperials. How pathetic. You're going to die in here, orc, like an animal in a cage. Hey, you hear that? The guards are coming.
The Emperor in his iconic robe comes in, and he's now got all these wrinkles on his face. He looks so good. He actually looks like an old man here, and it just hit me in the feels immediately. And the Emperor and the blades also sound so good.
Pursuit, sir. Stay put, prisoner.
Good. Let's go. We're not out of this yet.
You. I've seen you. Let me see your face. You are the one from my dreams.
Because they did keep all of these voice lines from the original game, with the exception of obviously changing them for different races, which they didn't have the capability of doing back then. Yes, all of the classic lines, the hilarious things these NPCs will say, that is still here.
Break the law on my watch, will you? I'll be confiscating a stolen goods. Oh, and no gold to pay your fine, It's off to the lockup, then. Then pay with your blood.
And as you go through this prologue, you're going to start experiencing a lot of the new changes that they made to the core experience of Oblivion, with the first being obviously the movement. And the movement, in my opinion, does feel really good, both in first and third person. However, it is a little bit floaty, especially in third person. But honestly, when you're playing the game, it still feels good. It just looks a little bit weird, especially when you're sprinting. I cannot believe they went with this sprint animation for this game just in general, because when you're in third person, it looks ridiculous, especially if you have like a shield on you, for example. There's also a hilarious visual bug where you're changing weapons using the wheel that you have set up as a shortcut, and it'll just keep the shield on. So you could have a bow with a shield. It doesn't work, but it looks like it. What can I say, man? We back, baby. Now, the next big change is to the combat that you're going to experience with a myriad of weapons, like one-handed daggers or katanas, and two-handed hammers, magic, bow and arrow. All of that you can experience here before you even get out of the prologue, and in my opinion, all of them feel really good. It definitely feels like the original Oblivion combat, with the exception of having those hit reactions from enemies that they added into the game. And these hit reactions make the combat feel so much more impactful. Obviously, there's a little bit of the changes to the animations in general. It definitely feels smoother, and all of this is very good for when you're actually fighting here. The effects with the magic, for example, look absolutely beautiful. But aside from this, there are changes to blocking as well. When you have a shield and an enemy's attacking you and you put your shield up and you block that, they're going to get knocked back so you can get a couple free hits in. This is only really the big change. It's not like it's a huge parry system where you parry and get a perfect one and you get this stab animation and one-shot the enemy. It's nothing like was rumored from Dark Souls. It really just still feels like the original Oblivion blocking with those extra added hit reactions and a tiny bit more depth added to it. So in general, I think it feels really good. The best part of combat for me, which is going to be good for those stealth archers out there, and yes, I did make a stealth archer as my main character. I apologize. I am sorry. But the archery just feels so good. It feels so smooth when you get that headshot and they're running around with arrows in their body like the original game, updated in these graphics. It's satisfying. What can I say? Those triple sneak attack damages are huge still, and the noise when you hit them and you get that sneak attack up there, that is still there. All of it just is incredible in my opinion. You also have a chance to do some lockpicking here, as well as a lot more later on in the game, and they kept the original lockpicking system. Thank you. I love it. If they moved it to Skyrim system, I would have been a little bit depressed inside. And last but not least, here in the prologue, you're going to be choosing your class, or as 99.9% of players do, creating your own custom class, where you go and kind of choose your base between a mage, a fighter, or a stealth base. Then you go and choose two of your primary attributes that are going to receive a +5 bonus right at the start of the game. So for example, if you're going a mage, you might want to do intelligence or willpower. If you're going a fighter, you might want to do strength and endurance for more damage with your weapons and more overall health. Now, really quickly, the leveling up in this game has changed from the previous game. So for these attributes specifically, when you do go to sleep after you've been leveling up your skills by jumping or fighting or whatever the case may be, and you get it maxed out, you go to sleep, you get the level up, and you'll have points. I believe it's 10 or 12 points specifically that you can put into these different attributes as you level up, and I think this is greatly improved. And last but not least, probably the most important thing is choosing your 7 major skills that are not only going to have a +20 bonus at the start of the game, but they're going to be upgraded much more quickly. And yes, exploding acrobatics is still in the game. I tested it immediately when I started out, so make sure one of your major skills is acrobatics, brother. And then finally, you're going to go out through the sewers into the open world, and my God, the goosebumps I got when I saw the open world again for the first time in Unreal Engine 5 and how beautiful it looked. Man, I damn near teared up, bro. And then, just like in the original game, you explore and do whatever the hell you want. Do you want to go on a murder spree and join the Dark Brotherhood? Do you want to jump 100 times for 10 minutes straight to level up your acrobatics? Do you want to go get a horse? Do you want to go get a house? Do you want to be a member of the arena and start fighting to get your adoring fan? Do you want to go start stealing shit, meet the Gray Fox, and join the Thieves Guild? You can do whatever you want, or you can even do the main story. I promise whatever you do, you're going to feel like a kid again. 10 hours flies by like you've been playing the game for 10 minutes. Now, what did I do? Well, I ran some dungeons for a little bit that were just out in the open world. Then I went and got me a horse. Then I went and persuaded the girl in the Office of Imperial Commerce to allow me to finally buy a house because she wouldn't do it unless she trusted me a little bit more. I helped out some traders in the Imperial City where there was a guy that was getting all of his items and selling them for way less than everybody else, and they wanted to kick him out. So I investigated, and then I found out he was buying from somebody who was going to graves and literally digging up their items and then selling them to him at a low price so he could sell them at a low price. I joined the arena and stole about 100,000 arrows from the arena combatants. Oh yeah, and remember those dungeons that I said I was running earlier? Yeah, I contracted vampirism. Yep. And I was cooked. So then I had to find a cure for vampirism. So I had to go back to the Imperial City. I had to go to the Mages Guild there and talk to them and start that quest line. And then I had to go get a bunch of Grand Soul Gems. Well, I'm a broke little boy, so I don't have Grand Soul Gems. So what did I do? I went across the entire world to every Mages Guild, and I raided their display cases in the middle of the night and stole the Grand Soul Gems. The last one I had to do, I had to pickpocket one of the merchants that I had probably previously just helped and steal his Grand Soul Gem. Then I had to make a full Fast and Furious run out of the Imperial City with every guard chasing me and attacking me. And because I was a vampire, I couldn't buy anything, and I had to do this in the dead of night or I would just immediately die. I also found some random cult worshippers out in the middle of nowhere. I attacked someone that I thought was just a normal human and ended up being a Daedra that absolutely destroyed me. Now, on top of that, I did do an Oblivion Gate. I did start the Mages Guild quests. I just had fun, honestly. It is wild to me how well this game still feels like the original Oblivion. Obviously, you have the classic iconic music where you're just sitting there, you're hearing the rain, you're hearing the music in game. And you're just vibing. It is one of the greatest feelings and one of the most nostalgic feelings I've had in a very long time. It is beautiful. Now, on top of this, all of the AI still works exactly like it does. They have that jank, they have those hilarious voice lines, but there are things that are genuinely still impressive here, even in regards to games today. For example, if you go and you're talking to a merchant and then you try to go upstairs and there's their private quarters up there, they'll follow you and make sure you're not going in there. All of these NPCs will go about the town, talk to each other, share different rumors which you can pick up to get different quests or go and find something that they might have been talking about. On top of this, they have their own daily cycles. So they wake up in their house at the start of the day, come out, they open up their shops at a certain hour a day. They'll stay in their shops, they'll close it down at a certain time of day, and then they might go to the tavern or they might go back to their house to sleep to prepare for the next day. Yes, there is still some jank here. They might clip into each other as they're walking around the world. They might say hi to you and scare the shit out of you because of how loud and profusely they're saying hi, how are you? But all of this stuff, honestly, I chalk up to Oblivion charm because of how impressive these elements are even today. You have games, and I'm not trying to hate on it, but you have games like Avowed that has none of this in it. Absolutely none of this. You can't even steal items in that game, and they could have done really small things in that game to just make it a million times more immersive. This is still one of the most immersive RPGs, in my opinion, out there, and it was created 19 years ago. Now, before I wrap up this video, I do want to just quickly mention some bugs, performance issues, and just general nitpicks I have about this remaster in general. It is not perfect. Quick preface, I did play this on PC, so I can't speak to what console is performing like, but I have a 3080 Ti i7 processor, 64 gigabytes of RAM. I'm not a computer expert. I don't really know anything about that, but that's just for context on what I have. Now, the only really big performance issue I experienced was stuttering out in the open world, which happened a ton when I was on my horse or even when I was running around, which got kind of annoying. The game would just kind of like freeze for a second and then pop back in, and it was fine for a little bit, but you might experience that. I didn't really experience any frame dropping or anything like that. It might happen later on in the game, but I didn't experience any of that myself. So overall, I would say the performance is relatively good here, with the exception of obviously those stutters out in the open world, which can definitely get annoying. I also think I did crash one time in my 12 hours of playing so far, so not bad, but I know other people have been crashing. Now, moving on to the bugs, I couldn't find all of these in my 12 or more hours of footage from yesterday, but I'm just going to list them down. I'll try to show as many of them that I can find. Some of these bugs are extremely small and just kind of funny. There's one where you're going to walk out of a door and you'll just start moving in one direction, and you can try to move in the other direction. You'll stay still, and then you let go and you'll just continuously move in that same direction again. Now, if you jump and move around, it'll honestly just fix itself extremely quick, but it is annoying sometimes. Now, another one, I don't really know how to explain it. It only happened once to me, but the whole game would just kind of freaked out. Like everything in the world was just spinning and shooting like lasers of glitches everywhere. It was so weird. The audio sometimes bugs out for me and gets staticky in dungeons when there's a ton of traps going. Getting on a horse might bug you out just a tad bit because your character might be right on top of the horse, then fall and actually be on the horse. Also, when you're on the horse, I think this is a bug, but your crosshair, if it ever clips into the horse's head or something like that, it'll still show the name of your horse. So it'll be constantly doing this as you're running around. Also, there's a bug where if you have a shield on and then on your shortcuts, you switch to a different weapon, it'll still show that the shield is on even when you have the other weapon equipped, like a bow or a two-handed weapon, for example. It's hilarious. The shield doesn't work, just a visual glitch. You just have to zoom out and back in and then it'll fix it. Now, I'm sure I'm going to find more bugs as I go throughout the game, but those are the ones that I found so far. None of them are game-breaking by any means. They're kind of honestly funny and honestly still keeps that kind of soul of Oblivion in that way. But lastly, moving on to just a few nitpicks that I have about the remaster before I kind of give my final impressions. I really have two here that I wanted to talk about. The first one is just the running animation. I know I mentioned it a little bit earlier in my video, but when you're running with the shield, you look so dumb. I don't know what possessed them to go with this running animation. It just looks stupid. It's kind of funny, but it looks stupid. Now, the other one is when you're talking to an NPC and they go through their dialogue and you're going to choose your response to the NPC, it'll just show their name. It won't show what they said anymore. So you can kind of just forget if they said something a little bit more long-winded. But those are extreme nitpicks. I'm otherwise having an incredible time with this remaster, bordering on remake. I think they could have called this a remake if they wanted to. Now, obviously, they don't have things like increased NPC density in the Imperial City, for example. It was really kept true to what Oblivion was. It doesn't really add, quote-unquote, anything to the game, aside from, obviously, the DLCs and things like that that you get with the base game. But this game being rebuilt in Unreal Engine 5 looks incredible. They obviously did do things with some of the NPCs like lip syncing, for example, and adding dialogue that actually sounds different depending on the race of the NPC you're talking to. The leveling up is greatly improved here. The combat changes in general just feel better than the original game while still keeping the same feeling of the original game. But what a remaster or a remake should be is a game that still has the same soul, the same charm, the same heart of the original experience, and they did that expertly here. And for anybody that didn't grow up on Oblivion like I and so many other people did and didn't play this game, it genuinely probably feels like they are getting just a new modern Elder Scrolls experience, and I'm so jealous of that. Thank you, Virtuos. Thank you, Bethesda, for shadow dropping this yesterday. Thank God these leaks and rumors were actually real. It still doesn't, it feels like a dream come true. It doesn't even feel like I played Oblivion yesterday. It's wild. It's such a weird feeling, but I absolutely love it. Now, I'm going to go play some more Oblivion, but before I do, I want to hear down in the comments, have you guys played the game? Are you guys going to get the game? Did you play the original game or did you not? And you're going to potentially be picking this one up and playing it for the first time. I want to know what you guys think about it. Are you on PC or console? What issues have you been experiencing? And what have you been absolutely loving? Thank you guys for watching the video. For my new viewers, please like and subscribe if you did like what you see here. And for my returning viewers, as always, thank you so much for the support. Please like the video if you liked the video. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace!